people wanting to die? And is it true that people want to die? You see, sadly, there's people that, kill themselves. They, end their lives for whatever reason. But when people go through with that route, do they actually want to die? That's the big question. Like, do they really, really want to die? See, me, how I put it as, we're not truly wanting to die. We're just wanting to escape our suffering, whatever we might be suffering through, whether it's financial, bad health, terminal illness, mental illness, whatever. We end up sadly going that route. But truly, while we're going that route, it's not that we're wanting to die. It's just we're wanting to escape our suffering. And sadly, the only way that you could escape your suffering seems to be ending your life. Now, I would be pretty sure if, let's say, there was a way to end our suffering without having to go that route of ending your life, I feel like we would all choose the other route of trying to end the suffering. I mean, me personally, yes, I would choose that route too, of finding a way to not suffer anymore, instead of going the suicide route. But sadly, this just comes to a point where people feel hopeless, helpless, and just some people at a bad setting where nothing truly gets better for them, and that's why they do that, because they just want to end their suffering. That's what it's all about. You just want to end your suffering. And I can't say I blame them. Now, like I always say in my videos, I don't recommend suicide, but I feel like everyone should have the right to do what they wish to do. I'm not saying let's do it, but I can't force people to not do it. The choice is pretty much up to you. That's all I can say there. I'm not promoting it in any way. I'm not, saying it's okay to do or not okay to do. I'm neutral with it, I guess you could say. Like, I'm not recommending it. But, people unfortunately, people should fortunately have the right to do what they want to do. We should have the right to want to live or want to die, because at the end of the day, really, it's our life. We're the ones that got to live it every day, If we're feeling a certain way, we're the only ones that are feeling the specific type of way. I mean, there's other people probably similar to what we're feeling, but you get what I mean? Like, you're specifically experiencing this, whatever it might be, pain or whatever, So with that being said, I feel that's where we should have the right to choose what we want to do. But, yeah. There's just, the sad thing is, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in life that'll push someone over the edge. It's just, there's a whole list of things that I can't even probably say, on this video. You got people financially struggling. They could be homeless. They just don't want to deal with it all. They're in pain, mentally, physically, terminally. And that's where, that suicide comes in, into par. And that's where, sadly, people end up going that route. But truthfully, I don't look at them as really wanting to die. I just look at them as they're wanting to end their pain. But sadly, the only way they see that they can end their pain is by, ending their life. Which is, it's sad, it's sad to see. I don't really, like seeing people do that, but I could definitely understand why people do that. Did I feel like doing that before? I'm not going to lie, yes. Did I ever attempt to do it? I'm going to be straightly honest. No, I have not. Just thoughts, but I never actually went through with it or planned a day of, doing that or anything. But, yeah. Now, for some people being called cowards because they've chosen that path or thinking about that path, I don't look at people as cowards over that. In a way, when you think about it, it's kind of brave, because when you think about it, you're literally going through or taking your life. That's scary to do. I mean, to a lot of people, I admit for me, like, I'm scared. I don't even think I have the guts to do it, And truthfully, I really don't want to do it, but I do want to escape this misery that this world offers us. That's the goddamn truth. But, there's people that I like to call it, they have like a safety barrier. And some people just know how to bypass that safety barrier. And once you bypass that safety barrier, you just go through with it. Then there's people where that safety barrier just literally holds you back from doing it. Like you want to do it because you just want to end the pain, but that safety barrier, it's like a seatbelt in a car almost, like when you slam on the brakes, it holds you back in place. Well, that's sort of like the same thing when you're thinking of jumping off a building or something. Don't do it, It's like you get those doubts, But, and that's just right there to prove to you that the person doesn't really want to die. But at the same time, the person just wants to have no more problems. Whatever the problems he or she's experiencing, he or she just wants it to all go away. So the only way to seem that it's going to go away is to go through with that plan and jump. But at the same time, they don't want to do it because they don't want to die. You get what I'm trying to say here? It's like maybe a little confusing, but it's like you want the pain to stop. We all want the pain to stop. We all want the suffering to stop. But we wish we could find a better way than just ending our life-wise, which, of course, I don't recommend we do, When I was a young, boy, a young boy, when I was young, and I used to hear on the news someone jumped from a, 20-story building or a parking garage or whatever, I used to say, damn, why do people do that shit? Like I didn't really understand the reason. I didn't really understand the reason why people do that. Like I just thought people, I'd be honest, guys, I don't even know what the hell I thought of it. I just always had like a question mark, like, why? Why would you take your life, Now I see it perfectly clearly. Like now I see it without even wearing the glasses, Now I'm not saying let's do it, but what I am trying to say is now I understand why people go that route, because it's just pure suffering here. There's just so many things that can hit you, man. Anyone could get an illness, I could, God forbid, get an illness. You can get, anything bad could just happen at any time. We could have one of the best, let's just say, life. So we're having a good life. We're financially all right. We have nice things, whatever. You're happy, blah 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 blah. And then something could just get in the way of all that. You could somehow go bankrupt, or you could somehow go from healthy to unhealthy. There's just so many things that can just go wrong. And when that shit happens, that's when shit hits the fan. And that's why people get to the point in life where they say, I'm going to die anyway, so why do I got to fucking suffer through this shit? I'm dying as it is, let's just say, or this suffering's never going to come to an end, so why do I got to live a slow, long life of pain when I could just cut to the chase, And that's what people do. But how I look at it as, like I keep saying, I'm not saying that the person's just like, I want to die, but at the same time, the person wants to die just to escape the pain, because that seems to be the only way to do it in those situations. And that's why, people go through with it. And that's pretty much why this is a thing. And with life getting harder, inflation, it's just going to make it even worse. You hear on the radio sometimes, I don't barely ever listen to FM radio anymore. I usually just plug it in or have the Bluetooth thing for the, the auxiliary, whatever. But sometimes you hear on the news, or whether it's TV or on the radio station, the suicide rates are going up, and what could we do to try to prevent it, or whatever the hell? Make inflation. That's going to help. That'll really help make it go down. Shh. You idiots want to help it. Stop making life so unbearable. But the thing is, what we have no control of is health. Health could affect us all differently. We could be healthy, something could just go wrong, which I wish whoever's watching this video, everyone's in their best full health, or if people aren't in their good health, I hope somehow they become healthy. It's sad, it's sad to know, like, I think about it every day. Like, I wake up sometimes and I say to myself, man, there's just so many people out there suffering from something, whatever it might be, mental, terminal, financial, just a whole list. And I say to myself, man, it's heartbreaking, It's just, wish there was something I could do about it. I wish I could just heal people like Jesus Christ, so they say. but all kidding aside, but just these are things I think about quite often, and it's sad. It's like what I said in the previous videos, where there's always something going on in life, There's always something tragic going on. Someone right now, as we speak, is sadly getting raped. Someone's getting murdered. Someone's getting strangled. Someone probably got kidnapped or whatever. You know, it's just always something going on as we speak, and something bad. As I'm making this video, someone could be getting slashed. You know, it's crazy. It's just it's disturbing. You know, there's always something. It's just life is just full of chaos, full of like it's just full hell, and you wonder why people take these routes. And sometimes there's just bad things that happen to people that they can't forget. Like certain tragic things happen to people where they're scarred for life. Like someone that got raped. Some of them just can't cope after that, which I can't blame them. Some of them want to just commit suicide because they got to live the rest of their life knowing what happened to them. And it's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's pretty much all of the above, you know. And I'm not recommending that the person does that, but I can understand truly why the person has made that decision, you know. We just want to escape the pain. That's all we want. We just don't want to be in pain. And that's the thing. Life is full of pain. Wherever you look at it, it's just life is completely negative. There's maybe little bits of positivity, but barely. You know, that's why people always say, stop being negative. But how? We live in a we live in a negative environment. You know, how can we be positive when life itself truly isn't positive? I mean, can someone answer that? You know, I mean, sorry, I had something to do, but resuming this video. So, yeah, you know, we live in a negative environment. You know, we're always belittled. We're always put down. We disappoint people. Meanwhile, who cares, you know? We should be happy. That's what life should really be about. You being happy, not making others happy, not making your friends happy, your family, your mother, your pappy, whatever. You know, that's the thing. We feel, there's also reasons where we feel we're not good enough or whatever. We're a burden or whatever. Meanwhile, never think that way. Even though you do think that way, try not to think that way, because it's not really true, because you just came at, you know, we all were born without any permission. It just happened. It all just happened. So, like, if I sign contracts and stuff saying I agreed to be here and then I'm a burden, let's just say, then I guess you have every reason to think that way. But we just came literally out of nowhere. We ain't asked to be here. We're just here. So that's why people that feel hard on themselves like that, my suggestion is don't feel that way. You know, it's easy saying it than it being done, but you know, never think it's really your fault, because you didn't ask to be here. It's not like you asked to play this game or whatever. You didn't ask to play this game. You just out of nowhere spawned. You know, that's my favorite word I love to use, spawned, because it's the truth. We just spawned. We just spawned, and oh shit, slowly over time, consciousness started coming in our whereabouts, you know. But, yeah, you know, people that, you know, want out and stuff, how I look at it as, like I keep saying, no one wants to die, really. It's just, we want to end the misery that we're going through, that we're suffering through, you know, and that's why we end up sadly going that route. You know, and I don't, like, you know, I'm not saying to people, let's do it, you know. I mean, people should have the right to do what they want to do, you know. Like, when me saying that, I'm not saying go ahead and do it, you know. I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not, like, trying to promote it, you know. But, yeah. I'd rather you don't do it, but if you're going to do it, unfortunately, then all I can say is, I wish you the best, but please don't. That's all I can say. You know, that's really all I can say. That's all anyone could say. But, you know, we shouldn't force someone to live, just like we shouldn't force someone to die. You know, I feel it works both ways. Shouldn't force someone to die. We shouldn't force someone to live. That person should have every right to do what he or she wants to do. I mean, that's just how I look at things, you know. I don't see what's so wrong of what I'm saying there. I mean, you know. Because what I'm really about to say now is I say to myself, what's the point in really making it to the end? Like, you know, sometimes I feel dying young is better than making it old, because more problems just develop as you get older. Your body starts breaking down. You know, everything gets fragile. You start getting weaker. You start getting slower. Everything just, goes bad. Your vision gets worse. Your hearing gets, just, you know what I'm trying to say. Like excuse me, we basically just start falling apart like a car, like a car gets old, this starts going bad, that starts going bad. Oh, that just fell off, or, oh, whatever. Yeah, but that's literally what we're like. We're like a car. We're just like, when we get to a certain age, we just start falling apart. And yet they have the nerve to call that the golden age. That's the, how I look at it as, that's more of the curse age. Even more of a curse, because now your body's giving you more problems. Now, with all that being said, I'm not saying skip getting old, kill yourself now. I'm not saying that. But with that all being said, I can't blame. And now, I honestly can see why people would rather just fast forward. It's like you're watching a movie. All right, I've seen this part. Let me just fast forward. All right, let me just cut to the chase. Well, that's like literally how I feel like with people with life. They just want to skip all the hell, skip all the bullshit. And I can't say I blame people. I'm not saying it's I'm not saying do it, but I'm not encouraging it, but I'm just not saying, I'm just not blaming anyone either, like I can't blame people for making those decisions, So like when I was a kid, I always used to wonder why people do it. I never truly understood, I really didn't. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not really, Now I could understand 2,000%, not even 100%, 2,000% why people make those decisions. Because it's just a cutthroat industry, man. You literally here to be an obedient sheep, be an obedient little workaholic, which sometimes makes people become alcoholics. But and we're literally here to just please our parents, please our family, or make people proud or brag to other people that we're doing a specific task, a specific activity that we really don't even want to do, possibly, but yet we're just being forced into it. Come on, son, do it for your pops. Oh, come on, son, do it for your mom. Do it for him, her, whatever, whatever. Meanwhile, are we happy doing it? That's the thing. A lot of us feel trapped. A lot of us feel like we're in a cage. That's why they call it the prison planet. Bad enough you go to prison, but even when you're not in prison, it still feels like a prison to some extent. Like if you don't literally pay taxes, they'll literally arrest you, if I'm not mistaken. Imagine that. Because you're not paying a fee that's literally, it's like David this way. You weren't even asked to be here. Now you're here. Oh, you better pay this or you're going to jail. Man, I ain't even participate. Where did I sign for this bullshit? Get what I'm saying, man? This is all some fucking crazy, weird shit. Like I say to myself, what is this shit? Where am I, man? How did I get in this mess? And why am I in this effing mess? That's literally my thoughts. See, like me personally, let's say I was taking a walk somewhere and I seen someone possibly going to, end their life. I would try and talk him or her out of it. Now, I'm not going to be a phony and be like, life is such a gift, man. It's worth living, all that. I'm not going to say it. I'll be probably straightly honest. I would probably say to that person straight out, bro, I know what you're going through. I feel pretty much the same way. I think this is all meaningless, let's just say, but please don't do it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really up to him or her what he or she wants to do. I can't force the person to stay. I will try to help the person maybe not do it, but with that all being said, at the end of the day, it is what he or she, I guess, wants to do, But, I wouldn't say life's a gift or whatever, because that'll probably make people honestly want to jump more because they know that's bullshit. If life was a gift, if life was whatever the hell we're going to say to those type of people, then why is that person wanting to jump in the first place? Life is a gift then, right? Then there should be no reason to think that way. There should be no reason to plan that, thing, that attempt. Because life's a gift. That's the thing. It's all bullshit. So I'm not going to go and say right away what they don't want to hear. Plus, it's not, I don't want to say lies in general. Because then the person just probably be like, imagine just saying, don't do that, man. Life's a gift. You just jump, be like, yeah, fuck that shit, man. I don't want to hear idiots saying that shit, It's just what's really disturbing is people don't know what people are going through. You know, just that sometimes people pull a smile on their face doesn't mean they're really happy. It could all just be an act. You know, no matter what someone's going through, you always ask that person, "You all right?" or "How you doing?" They'll just say, "All right, good." Meanwhile, it could be the total opposite. They'll be doing bad. They're burning inside. They're crying in the inside. You know, they're in pain. You know, I'm talking about mentally in pain. You know, could be physically too if there's physical wise. But you know what I mean. But you know, it's just people don't understand what we're going through. Sometimes I admit, like, because we don't show it, but in a way, it's like we're showing it, but we're not showing it, if you get what I mean by that. Like you can see in the body language that the person's not really all right, even though the person says he or she's all right. But some people are just too blind to realize that, you know. But it does get you off guard too, because there's some people that really, really, really look happy and act happy and kid around and joke around and shit. And those are the people that are most likely prone to possibly commit suicide, you know. So that's the red flag in a way, you know. So you just never know what somebody's going through. And then with all that being said, yet we have the nerve to criticize someone, make someone's day bad. You know, meanwhile, that person's day could already be bad, and then we're just putting more fuel on it, you know, putting more torment on the person's day, you know, by, for example, people getting bullied, people getting criticized, put down, whatever, just, you know, belittled, all that shit. And the person's already suffering through mental illness, let's say anxiety, depression, or, you know, whatever. And here goes this idiot now bullying him or her. And that's where it's most likely pushes them over the edge. That's why I feel like school in a way is like a big red flag for suicide, because we don't want to be there in the first place. And then not only that, there's people that bully us and shit. And then, you know, everything, like I said, is just pressure. Everything is pressure. We're always constantly under pressure. From the moment we're born to pretty much the moment we die. You know, it's like an egg. If it's going to drop, it's going to crack. That's literally what we feel like. You know, we're just at some point going to bust. We're going to crack. We just can only take so much until we just bust, explode, you know. I feel like school, and this is pretty much a different topic, but I feel like mentioning it anyway. Like, I feel like school is like a really, really, really huge red flag for suicide, because there's a lot of things you don't want to deal with going to school. You're going to I'm not saying everyone gets bullied, but there are some unfortunate people that do. And then, you know, let's say it's Saturday, then Sunday comes, and then that person that's getting bullied knows Monday, here we go again. What is he going to do to me today? He's going to punch me. Is he going to, or whatever, or, you know, just whatever it might be, you know, just bullying, you know, I mean, and plus social media and all that, you know, it's like, what is he going to do? What hell am I going to go through today? Plus school in general, I feel like is hell, having to study for this, having to worry how you're going to pass that, keeping your classes, making sure you're doing good, making sure you don't flunk any of them, you know, everything's all just pressure. And then that just adds more to it. So I feel like school could be a really bad red flag and known for people to commit suicide. You know? That's why it gets me when these idiots say on the news or the radio, whatever the hell, how we want to try to find ways to prevent suicide. You ain't gonna prevent it like that. That's just gonna make it worse. It's just gonna increase it. You know, there's times when I was in school, and not that I was really gonna do it, but I just get the thoughts. Like, I was looking at the window, and I'm like, man, I could just jump out this fucking window, and I don't have to worry about this whole X equal this, X equal that anymore. I could just jump and be X equals peace. At least I hope. But not that I was like really going to go through with it though, you know, it's just a little, you know, but like, you know, just get and then plus, you know, I also mentioned where I would look out the window and I'd be like, man, there's a life out there, beautiful birds singing, you know, a beautiful breeze blowing. And I'm just in this stupid prison-like looking building every day, enclosed in a classroom, sitting on a stupid uncomfortable chair and an uncomfortable desk that you can barely even fit a stupid cheap book on. When there's a life out there, and all we're doing is wasting it away in here in this specific prison building, school, just to go in another prison building as a sheep or whatever we do from there, you know. So it's just, when you look at life, it's just, these are all the red flags that lead to mental health, to lead to depression. This is why the majority of us are depressed, because life just isn't fair. And then plus, when you have bad health on top of it, that just adds more fuel to it. There's always more fuel being added to the fire. Just when you think there ain't more fuel to add, there's more. There's more. And this is why this is a trend, I mean, this is why people just want to fast forward, because it's just not everyone wants to tolerate this shit. Not everyone sees this meaningful. And whether it's meaningful or not, what really matters is if we're happy doing a certain thing, And I don't know how people are happy doing this, going to school, doing this every friggin' day, Some people just be like, and this is how I feel too, like, if you're like, well, I'm just going to die anyway, why can't I just fast forward to the end? What's the difference if I die today or tomorrow or a week from now, or if I die many, many decades from now? What's the difference? There is no difference. Only difference, I'm younger. All right, who cares? I look at it as an embracement, because I got to escape all the headaches of getting old. Getting old, whatever, just whatever, the joints getting pain, joints get messed up or whatever. Did you just see that orb there? Am I tripping right now? I could have sworn I just seen something white went like a UFO. But yeah, I mean, my joints getting, brittle. I may have a hunchback where now I can't sit up fully straight. I'm like this. I might end up not being able to walk. Maybe I may need an oxygen tank. I mean, who knows? I'm just saying, it hits everyone differently, but everyone goes through some kind of pain as they get old. And I look at it as, if we die young, we just fast forward, we're escaping all that. So they say the golden age, when I call it the cursed age. We're totally bypassing all that. Now, like I said, I'm not saying due to that, let's end it. But I can't blame people for wanting to end it because of those reasons. I mean, that's basically what I'm saying. I'm not encouraging it. Because if that was the case, I would have went along with it and wouldn't be making these videos right now. I'd be dead too. But, but with that being said, I mean, people should have the right to do what they want to do. I mean, it's your life. I should have the right if I want to live or not live. I mean, I feel like that should be a human right. That's how I look at it as. That's just my opinion. I mean, it's pretty much a fact, but yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a day there. Yeah, hope everyone's, hanging in there as best as possible. And we'll be making more soon. So stick around. And like I always say, guys, and I truly mean it, love you all. Peace out.